The second treatise, on the examination of created things and God's abounding goodness towards them. Introduction. As we began in the first treatise with a discussion of the various modes in which the unity of God can be demonstrated, so that it shall be wholeheartedly accepted and found, that the examination of the wisdom manifested in the universe, which the Creator called into being, is the most direct and surest road to a realization of his existence in reality. We deem it our duty to deal immediately with this theme, so to each treatise, the one most nearly resembling it should be joined, and each topic should be followed by what is appropriate to it. This being among the subjects which we have to deal with in regard to the Almighty's service, the purpose for which we were created, as the wise man said, and God hath so have made it that man should fear before him. First we have to note that though the benefits God bestows upon his creatures are all embracing, the Scripture saith, the Lord is good to all. The majority of mankind are too blind to recognize these benefits or comprehend their high excellence. There are three reasons for the lack of comprehension on their part. 1. Their absorption in secular affairs and pleasures. Their longing for something they cannot get from this world. Their neglect to contemplate the benefits God bestows on them, because the sole hope on which their hearts are fixed is the satisfaction of their desires and fulfillment of their wishes. Whatever stage of success they attain, they seek to proceed higher and further. The numerous benefits enjoyed by them are, in their view, but few. The great gifts already conferred on them they deem small, so that any advantage gained by another person they look upon as having been taken from them. Happenings that come to them from God they regard as calamities that have befallen them. They do not reflect upon the works of the Lord that are for their benefit. The Scripture saith, the wicked in his high arrogance does not inquire. God is not in any of his thoughts. 2. The second reason is that human beings, when they come into this world, are like foolish beasts, and an ass colt, as the wise man saith. Like a wild ass colt is man when born. They grow up surrounded by superabundance of divine favors, which they experience continuously, and to which they become so accustomed, that they come to regard these as essential parts of their being, not to be removed or separated from themselves. During the whole of their lives, when their intelligence develops and their mental faculties become strong, they foolishly ignore the benefits the Creator has bestowed on them, and do not consider the obligation of gratitude for divine beneficence. For they are unaware of the high degree of the boon, and of the infinite greatness of the benefactor who bestowed it upon them. In this respect, they resemble an infant found in the desert by a kind-hearted individual. The benevolent man took pity on the child, carried it to his home, brought it up, fed it, clothed it, and provided it generously with all that was good for it, till it was old enough to understand and comprehend the many benefits it had received. The same philanthropist heard of a man who had fallen into the hands of an enemy, and had, for a long time, had been treated with extreme cruelty, starved and kept naked. The benevolent man's compassion was aroused. He appeased the enemy, so that the latter freed the prisoner and forgave him his debts. After his release, the philanthropist took the man home and showed him kindness, but to a smaller extent than it showed to the family. Yet the man was more appreciative of and grateful for what had been done for him than the child, who had been surrounded by benefits from infancy. The reason was that the prisoner passed from wretchedness and destitution to a state of happiness and tranquility at a time when his mental faculties were mature. Hence, he fully appreciated the goodness and kindness of his benefactor. But the foundling did not realize the value of the benevolence he had experienced, even after his powers of perception and understanding had become fully developed, because he had been used to favors from earliest childhood. Still, no individual with intelligence will doubt that the kindness to the child was wider in scope and more clearly recognizable than that consequently there was in its case a greater obligation of constant gratitude to the benefactor. A similar thought is indicated in the text. Hosea 11:3. And I dangled Ephraim, taking them in my arms, and they knew not that I had healed them.